Hello, and you are listening to FPcast, the podcast for Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I'm Luke.
And I'm Jacinta.
And this week we're talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Daddy issues. Daddy issues.
Well, Daddy Issues in Space, the movie.
Space daddy issues.
Space Daddy Issues volume... Well, I guess it's the first one for Space Daddy Issues. But yes, we can finally talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
A movie I saw about a year ago.
Feels like I saw it about a year ago
Yeah,
too.
weird coming out on a Tuesday instead of...
Really broke the routine.
Yeah, so a much anticipated film. We are going to be talking about that. I don't know, will it have opened in America by then? Is it just opening now?
I think it's just opening now.
Regardless, it'll be spoiler free. We'll be very tactful about that because if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, I know a lot of people are excited about that one. I'm also going to talk about Personal Shopper, which I saw, and we've got some trailers. We've got a little bit of news. Oh my god, what a show.
OMG.
Yeah, I'm overselling it because I'm actually feeling a bit hungover and not quite in the headspace yet.
Well, you did it to yourself, so you're just going to have to push through it.
I'll listen to you.
But yeah, do listen to me, Luke.
All right.
Because I'm the voice of reason
Well,
here.
where was the voice of reason last night?
At home watching Vikings and very happy.
Yeah, we got Hungry Jack's in the Uber on the way home.
Oh, that's never a good idea.
That's the Australian Burger King. Sorry, is that my phone?
That's yours.
Okay, that's happening a lot lately. You're gonna bear with me today, but I'm gonna get in the swing. And just as we were ordering, I said to Suzanne, "I'm not gonna remember this meal." I did not remember that meal.
Yeah. That's healthy, isn't it?
I know, it's a shame. All right. Well, shall we talk about news?
Yes.
And that very exciting thing that happened in Sydney.
Yes. I stopped reading articles about this because I was so jealous of it happening that it wasn't happening to me.
I haven't actually looked into... Did they find out what it was about or why it happened?
I don't think the reason for it happening has been explained as yet. It's just a beautiful, magical mystery.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to read like an explanation.
Yeah.
So picture this. You're in Sydney. It's lunchtime.
I think it's near the train station or something.
Yeah, was it Wynyard or something like that station?
Yeah.
It's lunchtime. You're there, and a black truck pulls up. And this black truck it's a food truck, and it says Chef Goldblum's Jazzy Snags.
Yeah.
And it's got a picture of Jeff Goldblum there. So already, just by itself, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's funny.
Very cool. I'll definitely have my lunch there.
I'll definitely treat myself to a Jazzy Snag.
Yeah, to a little one of Goldblum snags.
Even just the term Jazzy Snag is pretty great. Now, I'm sure Americans don't know what a snag is, but it's a sausage.
It is a sausage, yes.
Yeah. So we're talking about like a hot dog essentially here. What would make... So that's clever, that's great marketing. Everybody's excited about this. What's the one thing that would make this little experience even more memorable and amazing for somebody walking up to this food truck and getting one of Chef Goldblum's Jazzy Snags?
I think it would probably be Jeff Goldblum himself serving me that Jazzy Snag.
Yes, so the very man himself, inexplicably, is in a food truck in Sydney giving out... I think he was giving out free sausages.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even think they were charging. But there you go. So you could just suddenly... You're minding your own business, you're on your lunch break, and this little bit of magic seeps into the world, holding Jazzy Snag in one hand, big Jeff Goldblum smile, and you're off.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Jeff Goldblum is in pretty good nick.
He looked great.
Like, he looks so good.
And he was wearing a black leather jacket and looked, pretty much like... it's Ian Malcolm, isn't it? His chaos theory, and maybe a Jazzy Snag truck appearing out of nowhere is a great example of chaos theory in action. It's like the raindrop. You just don't know which way it's going to go. So that was very cool, and it sort of also ties in, not directly, but this is around the same time we're finding out that Ian Malcolm is going to return to the Jurassic Park franchise, and will be in the Jurassic
World 2.
Jurassic World 2. Yeah.
Which is cool. And the things they've been saying about it is, well, whether this will actually come to fruition or not, but they are saying that it's going to be a much more, I guess, like scary dinosaur movie. Going to be slightly more angled to the kind of scary horror stuff, which is fine.
That's cool.
I'm okay with that as long as there's dinosaurs.
And Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard.
Oh, yeah. And Jeff Goldblum, of course.
Yeah, look, something for everybody in there. Now, I've got a theory about this van. Mm-hmm. I think, like, Jazzy Snag is such a sort of tongue-in-cheek Australian / New Zealand-y kind of thing to say, that I reckon Taika Waititi, director of Thor Ragnarok, is somehow involved in this story. I wouldn't be surprised, in fact, if they're doing something like recording ADR work in a studio in Sydney for Ragnarok. You know, Goldblum's there to do his collector voice. Not collector, he's the Grandmaster. Doing his recording, and they've said, well, let's go out and do this. We'll get a bit of footage.
Crazy guerrilla marketing.
And maybe it'll appear in a faux documentary or...
It'll be one of the credit
credit scenes. Could be a post-credit scene. It could turn up somewhere. But I think somebody has fed him this Jazzy Snag concept.
Because, Jazzy Snag is not something that I imagine he would come up with himself.
And that reeks of Taika to me. I reckon there's a puppet master pulling those strings, and it is Taika Waititi. So... maybe we'll find out more about that as it goes on, but my God, like, imagine if you were there. What a wonderful opportunity. Now, some other things are release dates. So, I've really thoroughly been enjoying Star Wars for Christmas. You know, it coincides with my longest holidays of the year.
And also it's Christmas. It gets you into that exciting, festive spirit of the season.
Just the absolute best thing. But it sounds like after episode 8 this year, this December, we go back to the May release slots, which was what was initially intended until Abrams couldn't get his shit together in time.
I think wasn't Rogue One was intended for May, wasn't it as well, and then got pushed back? Yeah,
I think that was because of the success of how Force Awakens had gone in that slot. But no, it looks like episode 9 is going to be May 24th, 2019.
And I mean...
and we know that Han Solo is going to be May next year as well, which is crazy considering that's a small gap between episode 8 and the Han Solo movie.
Yeah, and I guess at first that will be cool that we will have such a small gap, but then it's going to be a big wait again. I like it at Christmas. I'm sure once I get used to May, I'll be fine with May, but I would much rather have it at Christmas.
Yeah. Because there's a sense of, like, I'm excited about lots of different things at that time, and my holidays have started the last 2 years with the midnight screening, so that's a bit of a shame. And also getting a date is Indiana Jones 5 for July 10, 2020.
The return of Mutt Williams.
Yes, everybody's favourite character. An iconic cultural character. All I want to say about this, and I'm sure I've said this before, but I just want to reiterate it, because now that it's actually happening and we're getting close, we have seen multiple examples, some very recently, of just how well the technology has developed and how well it works for de-aging an actor. Be it in Ant-Man or maybe even a movie that we saw and reviewing today. It's gotten to the point where it's brilliant. So I just hope more than anything we get that opening 10 minutes of Indiana Jones 5, which is a young indie in his prime adventure. Let's see, like, 35-year-old Harrison Ford do something and let it be an echo of that River Phoenix scene in Last Crusade. So that something, the relic, whatever he was after, ties into the story that's going to happen as he's an older man. And have that transition. I just think, like, the opportunity to see that one last time, if this is his final film, it would just be brilliant. It'd be such a kick out of it, a reminder of that sort of heyday of Indy in his prime, and then bring us back to him in the present.
I mean, they're taking a huge gamble here setting this for 2020 because Harrison Ford keeps trying to kill himself.
I know, but he's not very good at it.
Well, that's true.
He's very tough.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Surely there's going to be, if he keeps putting cracks in the porcelain, it's got to shatter eventually.
I know, but he, like, crashed a plane onto a golf course and then did the, like, final 9.
Yeah.
You know, he got up, had a putt, and then went and had a beer afterwards. So, you imagine that. Again, like, that's like a Jazzy Snags Chaos Theory experience. Here you are, playing golf. Oh, yeah, you know.
And the plane crashes and you're like, oh my god, this is crazy.
4! And, like, this plane crashes.
And then suddenly Harrison Ford gets out of it.
Harrison Ford comes out, signals to your caddy, gets a club, gets a fucking hole-in-one, like, right from where he is. Yeah. It's amazing. So look forward to that. And then the other bit of news, and it seems like the genie's out of the bottle here in terms of spoilers. Glass is going to be released January 2019. This is the film that will tie together Split and Unbreakable. And, of course, is named after Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Glass, from Unbreakable, who might be the puppet master behind all this stuff. And it really goes to show that I never thought I would be excited about this film. Certainly watching Split, I'm not thinking, I want to see, another film with this guy. But just that ending teaser, now I'm like, yeah, I really want to see this thing. And I can't believe they've managed to do that to me.
Yeah, I should probably watch Unbreakable.
Yeah, do. Watch Unbreakable.
I probably would enjoy Split more if I knew what the fuck Unbreakable was about.
Yeah. No, Unbreakable's one of the good ones. I would recommend it. I think every so often you should just go back and watch something that you missed. I did that during the week with Chronicles of Riddick. Realised I'd never seen it. And realised that I've been bad-mouthing Vin Diesel a lot lately. Though I liked Riddick, the third film. I saw that at the cinema and I really enjoyed it. I thought that was great. And I didn't mind him in that at all. And I wonder if part of it, this sounds really shallow, but I think it's true, is that I feel like you can see intelligence in people's eyes. Like, you know. And he's wearing those, like, blue contacts, and he looks different. He looks like he doesn't have that dumb animal look that he has normally. And I think it makes him seem more...
Oh, okay. Like putting a pair of glasses on?
Yeah. It makes him look smarter. So I didn't mind that. He's such a baby in it, too, Chronicles of Riddick. I was surprised at that. And Carl Urban is such a baby. And I love Carl Urban, don't get me wrong, but, like, there's just a huge part of me that thinks... There's a huge part of me that thinks, like, how the fuck did he become, like, an action guy? Like,
well, I mean, it was probably one of the first things he did after Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, he's like the action villain who's just all straight-faced and playing it tough. The whole thing's like a weird bit of fan fiction. Like, it's a terrible film. But then I think, well, if it was good enough for Christian Grey to have a poster of it on his wall, on his childhood bedroom wall in 50 Shades Darker, then it's all right for me to give it a burl.
Yeah.
So, and then I missed the last 15 minutes of it. But, look.
What could have happened that would have redeemed it? Yeah,
I figure it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so trailers this week. We did actually have something. We had the Kingsman sequel. Which, what can you say about this? Well, it looks like more Kingsman.
It does look like more Kingsman. More cast. A lot more people in this one this time.
Yeah.
And some interesting additions. Like, I think Channing Tatum has had such a positive sort of renaissance over the last couple of years and the sort of the types of roles that he's taking. And I look forward to his addition in this, that kind of, James Bondy English spy thing versus his American statesman, I think his character's called. And I think Pedro Pascal is playing his kind of offsider guy. He was in the trailer for a second. He had like a gun, and I think he was the guy with the whip as well. And yeah, interesting. The most interesting thing in the credits, it says that Elton John is in it.
Yes, Sir Elton John, if you please.
Yeah, interesting.
I think it looks great. I think that, like, it fills this sort of missing gap where it's that kind of James Bond type thing. It's the, big over-the-top set-piecey action film with cartoon villains, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's in on the joke. Like, it's a knowing thing where everybody's going to get to come in and be badass and just have a fantastic time. You know, like, nothing sums up Kingsman as much as just that sheer joy you get of Colin Firth in the first one, just walking up and locking the door to the pub.
Yeah.
And the anticipation. And just the fact that you go, here's Colin Firth having the time of his life, getting to be a fucking badass, and convincingly so. And you've never seen him do that before. So I really like that, because I think there are way too many of the big action movies which take themselves way too seriously. Even the Bond lately, and just become so leaden. Whereas you think, this stuff is all pretty juvenile, power fantasy, kind of crazy. Why not? And you want someone intelligent at the helm. I'm not talking about like a big dumb parody, but why not play with it and play with those tropes and have some real fun and create some, really interesting imagery. It's almost like a little bit sort of Kill Bill-ish.
Yeah.
In the sense of that sort of series of over-the-top characters to take down. So, I remember... we really enjoyed Kingsman. We saw it early, I think, and we weren't, so we're kind of surprised by it. I don't think we had a lot of
I saw it.
preconceptions.
I didn't see it with you. I saw it with another friend.
Oh, I saw a press screening.
Oh, okay. I went to one. It was like it was a Friday. It was the first Friday of Christmas holidays. Remember that, because I went with a friend, and I did like it. That final scene kind of left a little bit of a for me. I did mostly like it though. I liked it more than I didn't like it.
Captive in a cell for a few days. Let's have anal sex.
Yep.
Yeah. I think but I remember us both saying, hey, look, but if they do a sequel, great, we're there.
Yeah.
We'll see it. And we were true to our word. So, you can say a lot of things about us. But are we liars? No, we are not. We always speak the truth. And then the other trailer we saw, 47 meters down, Mandy Moore in a cage with a friend. And the, rope breaks and the cage falls 47 meters down to the bottom of the ocean. And there are big sharks all around them.
Yep, and that's the film.
Yes.
Hooray!
Kind of makes you think, like, it looks okay, but I don't feel it should be more than 47 minutes. Because I just don't know, like...
I don't know. I feel like if this was a real thing, it would take them more than 47 minutes to work out how to get them back up to the surface.
Yeah, but, just give us the highlights. Okay. It doesn't have to be in real time. I just think, you watch and the shark lunges at them, and then the shark lunges at them again, and the shark lunges, and you go, what can happen? The shark either bites you or it doesn't, and for an hour and a half.
But the sharks aren't going to be there all the time, so when the sharks aren't there, it's going to be the peril of when are the sharks coming back.
And about air and stuff.
Yeah.
But, if the shark does, bite her in half, in the first 10 minutes, what are they going to do with the rest of the film? So it probably won't. So how much tension are you going to have? I think it's a limited concept. It's like that. What was that one with blonde lady stuck out on a rock with a surfboard with a shark?
Oh, was it Blake Light? Deep or something?
Yeah. So it seems like another version of that.
Yeah.
And not much happened in that.
I like Mandy Moore, though.
One of the main characters in that was a seagull. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. And well, you can imagine it.
I can definitely imagine it.
She's out on a rock and there's a shark circling around.
I've seen the trailer, and I feel like that's probably the most of the movie. You can imagine what happens.
But so I like Mandy Moore too. More Mandy Moore. That's my motto. All right, are we ready to do our big review?
We are.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2, continuation of a very popular film, a film that was incredibly surprising for pretty much everybody. How do we feel about the sequel then?
I'm going to go pretty uncontroversial and say that I did like it. I went in with fairly, tempered expectations, only because the second movie in Marvel kind of series, generally there's more misses than hits there. So I went in with expectations not super high, and I think they were met or just exceeded. So I was happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of film where to say you didn't like it would be like saying you didn't like kittens or something. You know, you would, or that you don't like ice cream. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is one of those things that is set up to just be a joy.
Yes.
Like an piece of entertainment with characters that you love, actors that you love, and the aesthetic of this film, the visuals, the direction, everything. It's really well put together. It's a lovely looking film. That said, I know this is controversial. I was disappointed by it, and part of that is that I do have very high expectations for it. I think you've got all the tools, all the setup to make this thing absolutely zing. I really enjoyed all the trailers. I mean, I think there's no question that it's a funny film and that it's well written from a dialogue perspective. I think they overkilled the trailers. I got to this point where I didn't want to watch anymore, and then we were like sitting at Comic-Con and they put up a trailer on the big screen, and so there is an aspect of it when I'm watching it where, and this is kind of unfair on the film itself, but I'm watching it and going, oh, I've seen this joke before.
Yeah.
And this whole scene, it's not like, you watch the scene in the trailer and the joke in the trailer and you go, oh, well, I wonder what that scene's about. Then you watch it in the movie and you go, this whole scene kind of just hinges on that one joke.
Yeah.
And then you go, all right, well, what's next? And then the next scene happens and you go, oh, I kind of know this as well. And then the next one, and you're going, well, when is it going to sort of have a life of its own? Like, I felt I'd seen too much of it. And I think that the stuff that they keep under wraps is probably more where the film treads water. So I want to kind of, in this quest to be like better critics and stuff, I'm trying to get to the absolute like big picture kind of, what is it about this thing that kind of underwhelmed me? Because I was enjoying it. I enjoy all the humor. I enjoy the sort of energy of it. But there was a point in the film, probably around the halfway point, sort of starting to get into that final act, where I'm sitting there thinking, I'm getting like a little bit bored. Like, I'm not as into this as I thought I would be. And that was the last thing I was expecting. If I was going to try and pinpoint exactly what that is, I feel it's nothing to do with the way that it's performed or crafted. Like I said, it's beautiful. But I think that James Gunn has made some kind of real, like, soft choices with the script, certainly in the terms of the plot and the story. And I think maybe for me, it's the fact that the characters, like our heroes, are very reactive in this film rather than active. Like, there's no clear thing that they want. And if you compare that to the first film, I think they did such a brilliant job with the introduction to Star-Lord, because not only did you get his humor and his personality, but you saw he's Indiana Jones in that scene. He's coming in for an artifact. He's passionate about it. He wants to get that money for it. And he's a character that's really driven. Whereas in this, he doesn't want anything. He's not driven at all. He's just put into different situations. And I feel like he's a passenger in his own movie, which is a real shame.
I think there is something that he wants out of this movie, though.
But he doesn't find it himself. It's not something that he's sort of going for. And then he becomes like, he stands around sort of reacting to it. There's something that he wants on an emotional level. And I can understand that that's what they've sort of triggered and gone, okay, yeah, of course that seems like a worthy thing to make this movie about. But it doesn't have that drive. Like, once he sort of finds that thing you're talking about, he does a lot of standing around and reacting and listening until the third act, which is a bit of a clusterfuck of a battle anyway. And the MacGuffin in this film, which is especially for the first half, which I guess is not really a spoiler, the batteries. Like, MacGuffin's usually the thing that the audience doesn't care about, but the characters do. The characters don't even care about this thing. So it seems like, for that first part, it's such a weak motivator. So I just felt like the characters were treading water. It didn't feel like it went into new enough places. It felt like a encore performance of the first movie, or a bit of DLC for the first movie for me. Like, it didn't take that adventure into a spot where... And the characters get split up a lot as well, so you don't have that group dynamic. And I also feel like there's definite... and it will work. I imagine people will love this stuff, but there's a huge amount of fan service in terms of, oh, you like Dancing Groot? We're going to give you even more Dancing Groot. Remember?
Well, I think that whole opening credits scene was that. It was like, okay, we're going to get this out of the way.
But they didn't. There's so much, like, Do you remember in the first one when there's like stealing body parts in a prison? We'll do that again. Like everything just keeps repeating.
Well, that particular thing did go on a little bit too long, but I feel like
they even had that beat where, you know, Drax looks at Groot while he's dancing and he stops. And then he looks away and does it. You know, there's so much of that where I think it's a dangerous road to go, because that's how you end up with like Jack Sparrow where he is now, where you take something that was organic and kind of happened and then go, now we want to keep capitalizing on that and keep doing that. It's like, remember the first time you saw Drax in the trailer doing the big laugh about you must be so embarrassed?
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Such a great moment. But then in the film, by the time he does that, he's already done that exact big laugh at something about 6 times. Whereas in the first one, he's still got that kind of I'm a gruff assassin thing, and some of that humour comes out. But it's more subtle, like when he does that thing about things going over the head and I would catch them, and he's still got that I'm a big emotionless assassin thing, whereas now he's just jokes. So I feel like there's that sort of shift where they go, oh, that was really funny last time. Let's explore that as opposed to letting it happen organically.
I don't have that much of an issue with the Baby Groot stuff, because I think this is the only chance they're going to get to do it. By the time he's in Infinity War, he's going to be full size again. Yeah. And I don't think they're going to bother with killing him and regrowing him again, because it's going to...
I'm not saying I have, like, an issue with that specifically, or Baby Groot existing. He's crowd-pleasing. He's amazing looking. He's adorable. You sort of watch it, but, you know, and it's fine, and people will laugh and people will love him. Like, I understand that. It's not like I'm trying to turn it into a Jar Jar thing or whatever. I enjoyed watching him on the screen. I've got the little figure of him here on the desk. But I just don't think it was ambitious. Yeah, I just don't think the movie was ambitious as it could have been. And that's why... I mean, look, I gave it a 3.5 when it came out. And I gave the first one a 5. So it's just that high expectations. And I am being, like, harsher on it. Like, I'm trying to... really sort of dissect and push and go, well, what is it about it? Because...
I think I gave it a 3.5 too, but obviously I'm coming from the different side of things. I enjoyed it as a cinema spectacle. I went and saw it IMAX 3D, which is the way that James Gunn sort of intended it to be seen. When they're kind of going to that ego planet, that first introduction to it was just beautiful. There was so much depth in that scene. And the kind of George Harrison music playing over the top was just so wonderful. And I actually thought it was interesting, I'm obviously not going to spoil anything, but the very, very end of the movie, how intentionally sort of unsettled it leaves you feeling. I actually thought that was very interesting, given how the first one leaves you feeling just so happy and excited with the dancing baby Groot, and I was so happy, and this one is like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, I can understand as well that they would go for, you know, it's Marvel's Star Wars. We're going to try for a sort of Empire feeling. The thing that I, as well, was a bit surprised by was that, I don't know, with Infinity War coming and with the fact that you've got to get the Guardians and Iron Man and everyone together at some point, I felt like this movie might start ramping towards that and sort of lead into that, even maybe cliffhanger towards that. And it just really doesn't at all. It's not interested in that. So, considering Infinity War's coming up with Thanos as the big villain, again, another movie goes by and we don't see Thanos, and you just think, well, you know, you got to get us jazzed for him at some point. I guess
they do talk about Thanos and their intentions toward Thanos.
He's mentioned, but that's the other thing that, you know, how much of that interesting stuff, like, say, between Nebula and Gamora and Thanos, that talk of that history, it's just told by people standing around instead of shown. Like, it would have been great to see some of that stuff. But I had a chat with Paris about it when we recorded, and something I was saying to her was there's this other aspect where we're so blessed now with all these genre movies coming out. Like, everything like, it's hard. Can you even think of a franchise that you would want to see as a movie that hasn't been already made? Like, just everything's been done. And we're so spoiled. And the technology's there to put pretty much anything on screen. That said, I think our imaginations can sort of get ahead and forget the real constraints of filmmaking. And what you begin to realize, and I've sort of been circling this, whether it was Skull Island or Life or lots of things we've talked about recently, even Fast and the Furious, you go, well, no, the reality is these things are still pretty limited. You know, where you sort of watch it and you go, yeah, they've got this stuff, but there's only a certain amount of new assets they really generate. And it's like, here are the 5 sets. So you sit there and go, well, I kind of wish this adventure had gone here or here. Why are they still standing around this place? Or why are they in this place? And you go, well, that's kind of the reality of filmmaking and paying for it and doing it all, is that they've got this set, this set, this set. And that's why we're not going back and seeing this thing from the past or whatever. Someone's talking about it
there's some pretty
on the set.
expensive-looking environments.
There are, but they're kind of
film.
hollow. Like, you know, characters walk through them and are wide-eyed, but it's not that thing where you're really actively being a part of it. Like,
Well, I guess it's just sort of audience immersion, whether you're taking that on or not. I was pretty satisfied with a lot of that stuff.
no, but I mean, it is dressing. It's still that. I'm not talking about that in terms of your experience watching the storytelling. We're talking about the practicalities of making a film like this. And the practicality is that you've got this huge CG environment and you've got them standing on a platform that's floating through it. So they're in front of a green... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just mean, like, that's what I mean. Like, you've got all these big environments, you've got all this stuff. But the realities of filmmaking is that you don't really get to spend too much time interacting with it. So, yeah, there's a kind of hollowness there. It's pretty, though. It does look really good. But, yeah, and Star Wars movies are the same. Lots of characters just sort of floating through pretty things, looking around. But yeah, it was what it was, I guess. It's going to be very popular, I imagine. And I certainly want to be very clear, if anyone in America has not seen it, certainly not dissuading or... So, yeah, it's absolutely worth seeing. If you're excited about it, I think you will really enjoy it. So, yeah. It's definitely not a diss on it. Like I said, 3.5, I did enjoy it. I also think there's some very clever writing in there, like some just beautifully told, sort of multi-layered jokes. The one that I like the best, and I'm going to spoil, but I almost kind of want to say it to get some praise on this thing, where I think it's really deserved, is the Mary Poppins bit. That's so clever in a lot of ways. It's not just a reference, it tells you about the relationship between those two characters as well. So he's so good at that stuff. Like, and that's the kind of highlight of it, I suppose, is that writing. And the few sort of odd things that pop up, little Easter eggs and stuff, are a heap of fun as well. Some really cool stuff in there. So, yeah, I would actually really like to see it again and get that sort of perspective a second time and sort of, relax on that and go, okay, now I know what it is.
Yeah.
I know what its scope is. Let's try it again.
I'd definitely be happy to see it again a second time, even soon, in a way that I wasn't that keen on seeing, like, Winter Soldier or something again straight away, because kind of the twist in Winter Soldier is, for most of the movie, and I think you didn't really like Avengers when you first saw that either.
No, I didn't, and that was a part of a scope thing as well. I felt it was just too contained for what it should have been, and was really disappointed that the whole third act was just another city. You know, it felt like watching Transformers 3 again. But now, like, I find it a really entertaining movie. But that does move on at a fair clip, though. It's constantly sort of refreshing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
your
Look,
interest.
I think Marvel in general has a bit of an issue with their third act big battles, and this one, it does faff around a lot. But compared to something like Thor: Dark World, at least this movie makes fucking sense in the third act.
Although I will say that just while we're talking about writing, there are some horrible cliches in this thing, in the characters say, especially even characters like Star-Lord, who should be so much sort of smarter and more charismatic than that, to, in a 2017 movie that is an irreverent go against the grain movie, he shouldn't be saying things like, oh, I've been searching for something and realised that it was right here all along. Kind of, like, that should not be happening. That stuff put me off as well. You know, it was the same I said that about Ghost in the Shell, where Scarlet literally says something like, oh, I've learnt that it's not what you are, but what you do that defines you know, those kind of things. Why are they in films? Like, I don't want to get this, like, ham-fisted Saturday morning cartoon morality thrown into it, especially in a movie like this. So, and that's, you know, one of those things. You look at what we do in Book Was Better, or when we watch old movies and stuff, you make fun of that stuff. You laugh about it. You go, oh God, like, why is that in there? But it's funny. Like, you can, and why do people love this film? But then we do it all the time in the present. We watch stuff and it's got things like that in there, and we go, oh yeah, but you know, it's Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and we were all excited about that, and it's awesome. So you don't say anything about it. But there's shit in there that Gunn should know better. It's like, I understand he's really pushing for, it's got to be funny, but we've got to find the heart in there too. We've got to make something sort of meaningful, but yeah, really ham-fisted.
And you were talking before about de-aging for one of the characters. That was actually not really done with very much CGI. I read an article today that most of that was makeup, and they took kind of the rough edges off with CG.
Yeah,
they
it looks great.
They just plastered him with like probably about 40 pounds of foundation and just smoothed everything out.
We've gone, I feel like I've taken it down and gone negative, but there are moments of pure joy.
There's a storytelling moment involving Kurt Russell and Chris Pratt that I loved. Yeah. The method of that storytelling. Yeah. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree. So, no, it's, look, God, it's so much better than so much of the shit that you're watching. It's just pure entertainment.
I mean, as far as Marvel's second films go, this is in the top 50%. Easily.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you're putting, like, Iron Man 2 and Thor the Dark World down the bottom, then it's Winter Soldier and this up towards the top.
It's just like, I don't know, like, I thought about the reason, I think I'd said to you that I'd had a bit of a Dark World experience. It's because if you look at Dark World, and when you're watching Dark World, and when you think about Dark World, there are some really cool sequences. There are some funny moments. There's some great, like, you know, there's the big funeral. There's all that stuff that happens. But there's just a point where you're kind of watching it and you're like, I'm just not as engaged in this as I should be. Like, it's just moving at a sort of pace where, like, it's uneven. And I mean, it's not controversial for me to be saying that either, really. Like, it's got a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is basically a pass-fail system. If I was contributing to Rotten Tomatoes, I would be part of that high rating. I'd definitely give it a pass very easily. It's like a 7 for me. But most of the reviews are saying, oh, look, it's great, but it's not a patch on. It's not the first one. It's not as good as the first one, and that's what I'm saying. It's just, you know, everyone's excited. There's going to be the best. You see the reverse of, you know, there's so many trailers that come out, especially for DC stuff, where people are like, oh, this is going to be shit. Whereas I've seen the absolute opposite, where people are like, got my tickets. This is going to be the most amazing film ever. This is going to be the best thing. This is going to be the most greatest thing ever. And you're like, oh, it's going to be what it is.
It's just a film.
And it's a sequel. It's a follow-up. You get to spend time with those characters again. You enjoy those characters. You get to spend more time with some of them than you did in the past and get to learn more about them, which is nice. I think I was probably primarily disappointed that, even though it sounds strange because Star-Lord, you know, it's about his father and stuff, I feel like he was a little neutered in this film. I feel like there were so many moments in that first film where I was just like, oh, Chris Pratt is just awesome. He looks so cool. He's doing these, like, really badass things. And in this one, I felt his story slows him down. Other people are going off and doing fun things, and he's standing around talking. And he's also having to be sad and have a lot of other emotions, and he's not you know, the kick-ass shots of Star-Lord with the helmet going on and him boosting out and all that sort of stuff you see in the trailer, but I don't think there was much more of that or much more of him just driving the story, just like really going in there and kicking ass. And that's a shame because I love him. I want him to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I didn't mind that too much because, I don't know, I think we've seen that from Chris Pratt before, and it was a little bit nice to see that, you know, slightly more emotive side. I think
you could have done both, though.
Yeah, there was a moment towards the end where a particular song starts playing, and I just internally groaned because it seemed so on the nose and cheesy. But then there's this little moment with Chris Pratt, and he just sells the moment that like, I was thinking about it in the car driving here, and I started to get a bit, because it was just, he sold it so strongly that I was like, okay, you know what? I'm fine with this song. It's a piece of cheese, and I'm not really into it, but you know what? It's cool.
But it's messy anyway, just in the sense that there's no... Because of the nature of the story and how the story unravels, again, we're having to be very careful about what to say, but there's no clear thread established. And you know this just from the trailers. You're sort of going, all right, so the conflict is the golden lady. Well, no, but then the bad guy's kind of Taserface, but then Chris Pratt's not even going to see him. Well, no, well, it's kind of Nebula, but... Or no, or is it something else? You know, the film never sets up the...
No, I think all the different... They're split into two different groups, and those two different groups have different issues that they are dealing with, and one group has
of
two
them
villains.
Is very minor. Like the whole gold thing, it's just, I don't know, it's nothing. You just go, are we half an hour into this film and they're after these batteries? Is that really what this is about? And it's not what it's really about. It becomes about something else. But it spends a long time on something very minor. Anyway, go see it. Enjoy it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
And if you go see it in IMAX, make sure you get the cool IMAX exclusive poster. I had to go back to the desk after I saw the movie and went, where is my poster? And they gave me one. It's really cool.
And I didn't see it in IMAX, but I saw the trailer in IMAX, and yeah, it did look incredible. It was the best looking, it was far more engaging than what I've seen otherwise. So I would imagine that is definitely the way to see it. Okay, and if I can just talk briefly about something else I saw, which is Personal Shopper with Kristen Stewart. Mm-hmm. A sort of, quite slowly paced, quiet, odd indie film, which I think would definitely alienate the mainstream because it's ambiguous at times and frustrating at times, and you have to read into a lot. It's one of those films that you sort of want to sit down and study and think about, and I know that's certainly not for everybody. I think that someone could be quite just give up because of the pace, but it really stuck with me. It's something I've thought about, so I'm putting this in that kind of category of those films like Under the Skin or The Neon Demon, those sort of weird films that you kind of have to persevere with. But Kristen Stewart's a personal shopper in Paris to this famous model lady, and she's also believes she's a medium, and her twin brother has died, who was also a medium, and she's been hanging around the house where he died because they'd made a pact to, if one of them died first, because they've both got a heart condition, to try and make contact from the other side. So she's trying to find him, and it is a ghost story, and not a metaphorical ghost story. Like, there are some crazy ghost images in this thing, which I wasn't expecting. And it's also a thriller and a sort of crime thing, and it's almost like where you go, is the ghost story almost like a separate story to the thriller thing, but then they tie together in an interesting sort of thematic way. I just thought it was really cool, and we sort of defended in the past actors where people go, oh, that person can't act. And I always said, if someone's trained and they've made it to films, like big films, they probably can act. They might not in that particular thing you've seen, because it depends on the director and the script and the role. And Kristen Stewart gets a lot of shit. But then I guess if you're judging from The Huntsman and Twilight whether someone can act, then maybe you need to watch more films, because she, in this, where she actually has a role where she has stuff to do, I found it really engaging. I thought she was great. So it's kind of like discovering her suddenly. So, it's Personal Shopper. And if that appeals to you, I definitely recommend you give it a look if those are the kinds of movies that you can endure. It
wasn't on my radar, but maybe I will check it out.
Yeah, I found it, like I said, it's kind of sort of that quiet, soft feel to it, but at the same time, you're really like, where is this going and what's going to happen next? Like, I really wanted to know. I wasn't going, oh, how long has this got to go? I was like, yeah, I really want to know what was going to happen. So I certainly can recommend it on that level. So there you go. Fun.
And if you are listening in Australia, I think Get Out is out this week. So do Get Out and check that out.
Yeah, so there's some good stuff lately. Some very different stuff, which I appreciate. Yeah, well, is there anything else you would like to discuss?
No, I don't. We don't have any diversity this week, really. I've been watching the same shit that I always watch. There's a lot of If You Are the One and Arashi and stuff. And also because I have been smashing through that second half of season 4 of Vikings. I'm nearly finished. And then I will be all up to speed. And I don't even know when that's coming back.
No,
I don't know if they haven't even started filming or anything yet, have they?
I think they have. Catherine Winnick keeps posting on Instagram, like in the editing bay and in costume and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so the reason that I've been smashing through the rest of that is so that if you are on our Facebook page, you may have seen that we posted a link to a little half-hour extra podcast that we're thinking of maybe doing, and I was thinking of doing perhaps Lagatha for the second episode, so I had Googled Lagatha and then immediately got spoiled for a whole bunch of shit that I hadn't seen, so I put a pause on that, and I went and watched the rest of the season.
Not everyone is on our Facebook page, so this is a really good forum for you to talk about this new idea for a show, which was your idea and something that you're driving, is a half-hour history show. Yeah,
so, I mean, there's a lot of history podcasts out there, but I mean, I found listening to some of them, sometimes, and I know a lot of people do like detail, but sometimes people just want a summary of the thing. And like an entertaining summary of the thing. So the idea was a little half an hour show, especially most places where I drive, I've got about a half hour commute.
Yeah.
So a little half hour show you could listen to in the car, listen on the train, whatever. And it's just kind of each episode, we're thinking maybe every fortnight or so, is just a little bite-sized bit of history that will hopefully be presented to you in an entertaining way.
Now, the first episode, there is a link to it on our Facebook group page, which...
and it's available for everybody to listen to?
Yes, it's hosted on Patreon, but anybody can listen to it. So go and check that out. If you want to find our Facebook group, just go to fruitlesspursuits.com. There's links to it in every post. Every podcast post or search for FPcast Book Was Better on Facebook and you'll find the group. But do check it out. I had a lot of fun. I'm really happy with it. And I would definitely encourage us to continue and to go forward and to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think at this stage, I mean, I've obviously been thinking about it quite a lot this week. We recorded it last Tuesday or whatever. And I've kind of laid out the framework for most of the rest of this year. So probably until the end of November, and I think maybe take December off and kind of assess where we're at and then bring it back next year if that's looking to go ahead. So I've got quite a nice bit of, I'd say, diversity in terms of it's not just Australian stuff, there's a lot of international stuff. I guess in terms of actual diversity, there's probably not going to be heaps of that, only for the fact that it's much easier to make fun of white people.
Yes.
And it's going to be, I think in the first episode I talked about really liking horrible histories. So if you watch horrible histories and go, oh, it's a bit problematic because they're talking about a lot of European history, then we're probably going to be a little bit the same to start off with. Because
but you'll learn stuff. You learn about like amazing Australian things, like a bloke and his donk.
Yep, a bloke and his donk. And I think a lot of the Australian stuff that I have kind of earmarked for our first season as such, mainly West Australian stories, so we've got some pretty interesting stuff going on here.
You can find out about the Emu War, and if you learn nothing else about the Emu War, you can learn, America, that it's not pronounced emu.
Emu. Maybe that's what the war was about. The emus just got so angry. Emu.
Yeah.
Asshole.
Let's get rid of all the U's and replace them with double O's. Anyway, in fact, I was tempted to just bung that podcast on the end of this one so that everyone would be forced to listen to the first one, but...
Yeah. Well, we're probably going to launch in maybe about a month or so, once we worked out what we're doing a little bit more. We'll worry about it then.
Right,
yeah.
Because I don't want to do any extra editing because I'm hungover. I'm already trying to read the friggin' Underworld novelisation for this week's Book Was Better, and it is just sapping the life out of me.
Uh-huh.
Like a vampire leeching my lifeblood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not liking it.
How funny.
I should save that joke for next time.
You should do.
I probably will
Yeah.
anyway. All right. Well, that's the show then, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think we are taking a break next week, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just some IRL stuff that we've got to kind of take care of, and so it's going to make the show a little bit hard, and there's nothing really coming out.
I've got some URL stuff to take care of. www.pornhub.com.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
It's the play on words, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so anyway, we won't see you next week unless something dramatic happens, but we will see you the week after. And we don't quite know, there's like, what is it? There's, oh God, what was
Well,
that?
we're going to see Wilson,
Wilson, yes.
the Dan Clowes adaptation.
That's right.
Starring Woody Harrelson. I'm looking forward to
I was
that.
trying to remember the name of the
Yeah,
bloody
no,
thing.
that's cool.
Yeah, there's also, I'll try and see if I can find somebody else to see King Arthur with maybe, because I am sick for King Arthur.
Why would you not see it with me?
Well, we can't see, like, there's Alien Covenant coming out that week too. We can't see 3 movies in one weekend. I have, like, actual life things that I would like to do as well.
So that's all the same one.
Yeah, that's all the same week, buddy.
Yeah, I want to see all 3 of those.
Yeah.
I
So
will. I
we'll
will.
see. Well, maybe you could go and see that early, and then we could shift some stuff down there.
And we're pointing at a document that you can't see. This is a clear waste of your time.
Yeah,
so we're going to
also,
fuck off.
Yeah, and it would benefit me because then I don't have to go and see John Wick.
Yeah, I'll see John Wick.
Yeah, you can go see John Wick. All right. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Fine.
Goodbye.
Bye.